And we're back, day 2, and we just really said, you know what, we're not going to dick around today, and we're going to just start with a super heavy film. So joining me to conduct this interview is our good friend Tony, who's in North Dakota, and the creator of this film, AJ Gribble. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
So we have a lot of comments from online, but we're going to let Tony take over and get things started. I understand that you guys already know each other, so have fun. Oh, can
Hey,
we
Tony.
hear you, Tony?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, Tony's
Okay.
totally quiet.
I can't hear him either.
No, we can't hear you yet. So you keep trying. Why don't you keep trying your sound?
He's muted on his end.
You're muted on your end, buds.
Oh,
Tony.
I'm not seeing any audio from him.
It's gotta be your mic, Tony. Well, while he figures it out until he jumps on, I can take over and ask a couple questions from Twitter. From McFarland Girl, she wants to know, what made you, as a male director, decide to change the story that centers around this specific topic? It's very well done, and the actress is incredibly gifted at conveying the sweeping emotions that this trauma can cause.
yeah. I remember when I originally got the rights and I was reading this story around 2018. Every week in the news, it just seemed like there was just a school shooting or some type of shooting every week and always in the news. So, and it was always a male. So
Right.
I just kind of thought it would be a little different and wonder what if it was a girl that did it? What would the motives be? And if it would be different from all the males in the past that have done it.
Awesome. Oh, he's still talking. We're gonna have to read Tony's lips. Let's just make questions up for him. He's like, hey AJ, how did you choose that T-shirt this morning for this interview?
Yeah, I had to.
You could always try logging out and coming back in too, Tony. There is that option. We'll keep going. Marco D on Twitter, he says, with a story so dark and acting that was intense and absolutely amazing, how did you lighten the mood in between takes?
Yeah, that I know at first when we were talking about it on set, I'm like, I know like this is a dark topic and it's very touchy and I don't want anyone to feel like down about it. So we like in between takes or if we were just hanging out, we always just wanted to have fun, crack jokes and just try to lighten up the day and just keep it going and try not to feel down about it, I guess.
So this was actually filmed at a real college, correct?
Yes, it was.
So how did you go about getting permission to film something like that, you know, in a time that, like you said, all of this was going on in the news?
Yeah, I didn't think it would happen, to be honest. Like I thought they were like, no, like not a chance. But when I asked, they were actually really intrigued, and I had to send them the script to see if they were okay with what I wanted to do at their college, and they emailed back and they were like, "Yeah, go for it. We will have people with you, you know, like just to monitor and be safe." And but they were actually really, really cool with it, and I'm thankful that I got to do it there.
Hello?
Tony.
There we go.
Tony's
All
joined
right.
the party. Yay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We've got it now. I have just one quick question. We still have like a half an hour together. So was school in session at the time of you making this film?
No, it was filmed at the end of May, beginning of June. So the students were leaving for summer.
Probably
So
a
they
good
were,
idea.
yeah. So even in the film, if you looked in the dorms in the background, there was nobody. It was all cleaned out pretty much. We were the only ones there.
Great. Okay, Tony, you can take over the airwaves now.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I had to fix it on my end. AJ, hello. I'm so happy to talk to you,
Hi.
man.
I know,
Love the
finally.
shirt. I know, huh?
Thank you.
I want to dig right in, okay? You made your first movie at 13 years old, and then you made this film a few years later on a iPhone, correct?
Yes.
What
Uh,
explain that at that young age, starting out right into out of the gate into filming at that such a young age. Tell us about that.
uh, well, it's like I said, when I was 13, it just started with making little skits and shorts on a little iPod, just around my neighborhood with friends, and obviously no budget, just making stupid videos. And then the years went on, I started making more and getting serious into it, and then I joined an AV class at my local technical school, and my teacher actually encouraged me, Phil Shaner. I don't know if he's watching, but he encouraged me to do it. I was talking with him, and I made a bunch of shorts before that, and he was really impressed. And I brought up the Dollar Baby, and I'm like, hey, there's an option to get the rights to a King story for $1 and adapt it. And I asked him, like, do you think maybe we should do it, or like because I wanted his help with it for a bit, and he's like, just go for it, and it just went from there.
That's awesome. And then, is there any particular reason why you decided to do it on an iPhone as opposed to a regular camera or any other technical equipment, film equipment?
Uh, Basically, it's what I had at the time. Like it was the
Budget,
cheapest
right? The
option.
budget.
Yeah, exactly. But it came out really well. Like I said, I used
Yes.
various different lenses that just attached onto it, and it worked really well.
Yes, very much so. It looks so great on screen, and it's amazing that you did that with that iPhone. You hit some hot topics in this movie. You've got the big three. You've got the bullying. You've got sexual violence, and you've got obviously guns. How did you, when you first started, when you first picked the story, the Stephen King story? What did you have any hesitation at all, or did you cautiously go into this story?
Um, Honestly, I really didn't have too much caution, I would say. Like, I knew it's what I wanted to do. I was set on it. Like I said, it was always in the news, so I just wanted to bring it in the spotlight, I guess, and talk about maybe what's going on with that person, and even if people like would go as far as say like if they can help.
Okay. Your casting, your cast did a great job. Kudos to your lead actress Natasha. Amazing job by her. Tell us how that casting process went, and what did she bring to the table that got her the role?
Uh, the casting was really quick, actually. It was actually my dad who recommended her to me. He was friends with her husband, and he knew that she was an actress. He's like, hey, you might want to talk to Natasha. She's a local actress, and she might really be interested in this King project. And I was talking with her. I sent her the script. I'm like, this is all from a female perspective instead of male, like the short story. And she got really excited about that. And she goes, okay. And the various versions of the script she actually added from experience too. So she brought like a really personal story to it.
Okay. Now you filmed Kane Rose Up first, and then you went and did Garrish. What was the time frame in between the two, and why did you reverse it, do the prequel second and the movie first? Any particular reason why you did that?
Uh, I had no intention on making a prequel, honestly. It just kind of happened. Like, I wrote the original Kane Rose Up with the female, and it was originally like 16 minutes. And then I was editing it, getting it ready, and then I kept thinking, I'm like, maybe there should be a little more story about her intentions and what maybe happened in her life. So I was originally just gonna make a few more minutes, just in like flashbacks. But
Mm-hmm.
then Natasha was like, "Hey, what if we just make this a whole prequel?" and she wrote most of Garrish, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and that just pretty much went from there.
Um, First of all, I love that you did a prequel. As far as my knowledge goes, of all the Dollar Babies, this is the first prequel to an actual Dollar Baby. So kudos to you for that.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So since you've done the movie and you've done a prequel, will we see a sequel?
It has been brought up, and we've had a few ideas, but I don't know. I feel like the Garrish story is complete.
Okay. All right. And at the end of the film, you dedicated it to Joe Blisman, who
Yes.
passed away. Tell us what it was like working with him.
He was amazing. He's always been in my life. He was my dad's best friend. He was my dad's teacher ever since he was in elementary school, I believe. And so I've always known him. And when we were doing the prequel, I was asking my dad, I'm like, hey, do you know of any older males that could fit the part? And he brings up Joe, and Joe's never acted before. And he was extremely excited, and he's always wanted to act, and he loved doing it. And
Yeah.
the scene, I noticed some comments in the YouTube when Kate was getting slapped by him. He didn't want to do it, but Natasha was like, just go for it, make the sound authentic. And for the first few takes, he wouldn't do it, but then he finally he finally caved in and just went for it.
Did he actually make contact? I mean, you did?
Yeah,
Like a couple of times?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man. Let's see. And then I think you've already covered the location, right? As far as where
We
it was
did talk
filmed.
about that, yeah.
We talked about it already.
Yeah.
I was trying to do my still. We tried to get back on it.
I'm sorry. I was just,
No,
we're
that's okay.
building the plane as we fly it, as my good friend Norm Coyne likes to say. So,
one of the things I absolutely loved about your movie, AJ, is that, including the poster even for Garrish, is that you have this very retro 80s look.
Yeah.
And kind of a little bit grindhouse-ish, but definitely 80s horror look. Was there any inspiration from the 80s horror film that you got from that to make have that look?
The poster, I mainly just asked, like, let's try to make like an old school like VHS cover that you would see at Blockbuster or something.
Exactly.
And I think that fits that perfectly. But originally the style I was going for in the original poster was The Thing, John Carpenter.
Uh-huh.
And the various designs, like I just figured let's make it retro, because when people think of King, they think of, like 80s and like the VHS covers or the old paperback covers that are just ridiculous to look
Exactly.
at.
yeah.
Yeah.
It totally looks like the cover of a VHS. It's fantastic.
It did. It did.
I just want to jump in for a second. So I don't know if you were watching yesterday with us, AJ, but our friends at Dairy Public Radio, they keep writing haikus for every single
Haikus,
film.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to read you your haiku, if that's okay.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Once an outsider, a girl joins a new group. Betrayed, then repaid. And they
Ooh.
obviously give Garrish 5 out of 5 blue chambray shirts. Hooray!
Yes.
Thank you,
chambray
Dairy
shirts,
Public
yes.
Radio. I love that.
That's
I
going
love
on the
betrayed,
poster.
then repaid.
I
Okay.
love it.
Yeah. Did you have any challenges when you were filming either Cane Rose Up or Garrish, as far as any location problems or any technical difficulties? Did you have any challenges at all that making the movie?
When we were doing Kane at the college, there was a problem with security. The first day, it was totally fine. The security like kept going by us, like, "Oh, you guys good?" And then the second day, it must have been a new shift with new guards, and they must have not been notified that there was going to be filming and a rifle at the college.
Oh,
so they kind of got a little suspicious, and they came up. They're like, "Hey, like, what are you guys doing? Why do you have a rifle?" And I we were like, oh, we're filming, and I showed them the gun. I'm like, we have bullets for props, and the firing pin has been taken out, so there's no way the rifle can go off.
Right.
And they're like, okay. They're like, just making sure. And then when we were filming outside by sidewalks, cars were always a problem. Just always coming by and just loud in the background, and that was always messing up the audio. But other than that, nothing bad.
That's good. And then you have some, a lot of the doll babies, they love to put Easter eggs in their films. And I noticed there's a few in yours. Obviously, that was intentional. A couple of little Easter eggs you put in there.
Yeah. From what I can remember, the few books, like on the bookshelf, Skeleton Crew, which is where Kane Rose Up was from, Carrie. I think Carrie was Natasha's favorite, so she added that in there.
Oh, yeah?
And then at the library, the reading group, Ashley had The Stand.
I know when I first saw your movie. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The main character, Danny.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first saw your movie the first time, I was trying so hard to see what the one actress was reading because she had it just the cover turned just enough back, and I'm like, is that The Stand or The Dark Tower? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Now, again, going back to you are a young filmmaker. Who were some of your inspirations getting in when you first started getting into film? Who were the 80s directors, 90s directors, Tarantino? Who were your inspirations?
Yeah, totally. I grew up with the classics like Wes Craven and Carpenter, and I remember as far back, the first horror movie I've seen was Nightmare on Elm Street with my sister, and I remember I couldn't sleep the first night. But after that, she started showing me The Shining and even the Mick Garris version, both versions. Uh, and then just it went from there. But yeah, totally Carpenter, Kubrick, obviously Spielberg, and yeah, just
Yeah.
all the good ones.
Do you have a particular favorite all-time horror film?
Ooh,
No
it's not really
pressure.
horror, but
No pressure at all. No pressure.
not really horror. But Dawn of the Dead, Romero.
Awesome.
Yes. Awesome. Great choice.
Can I ask a question real quick?
ahead.
Just because our people have a lot of questions for you out there. This one's from
Yeah.
Erica Macklin. She says, please tell me the name and artist of the song in the final credits. She says it's haunting and beautiful.
The song in the final credits is by Bill Murray, Bilmuri, not the actor. The song is
Not the Ghostbuster.
the song. No, the song is called "Lies."
Awesome.
Oh, I didn't know if you had another one for me.
No, I'm scrolling through here and,
Okay. All right.
Picking and choosing.
Let me ask you this, AJ. What was your parents' reaction when you went to them and said, "Hey guys, I'm going to make a movie"? What did your parents say?
At first, when I said it's a Stephen King story, they're like, "Oh, like it's gonna be scary," and I was like, "Not as much scary, more disturbing." And then they go, "Oh, okay, what is it about?" And I'm like, "Oh, school shootings," and they go, "Oh." Like they didn't
Oh.
they didn't at first they were a little skeptical, but as I started like showing them the process of how I was making it, they were very um very helpful with it and very caring of it, and they loved that I was doing it.
That's awesome. And did the film, where has it been played? Is there any festivals that you've attended before where it's played or anything?
This was Garrish's premiere, actually.
Here?
Yeah, right here.
Another premiere. That's incredible. I love this.
All right.
And
Exclusives.
and the original short of Kane was actually at a little local theater here in Wilkes-Barre called Movies 14.
Very cool.
But
Awesome.
nowhere else.
Is there anything you personally want your viewers to take from your film in a positive way? Because there's so much, violence and everything going on in it. What's something positive that you would want them to say, hey,
I would want the viewers to take away in a positive way, to just, care for your friends. I would say, like their lives are different from yours. You don't know what's going on, and to just always help and be caring.
Very good. Very well put, man.
It's nice to be
Um,
nice.
yeah. On a lighter note, what was your first Stephen King book? What was the first thing you read?
Book. I think it was Eyes of the Dragon, actually.
Yeah.
I I have a very soft spot for that one. I know a lot of fans are very mixed on it, but I love it. I love the fantasy, the action, the beginning to Randall Flagg. It's just love it.
So you mentioned Randall Flagg. Are you obviously, and you had the stand in your movie, so you're obviously a big Flagg fan, Stan fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And what King movie would you like to do if you had no limit budget? What would you like to do?
I'd say a Gunslinger. Make the first book a movie.
Yes. Yeah. Did you have any certain actor that you've always favored that he would make a great role in?
I would say Clint Eastwood, but he's at that age. But
Clint Eastwood with a time
honestly,
machine.
yeah. But honestly, I loved Idris Elba in the Dark Tower movie. I actually thought he was a good fit. So if he would come back for that, that'd be sick.
We'll get
Yeah.
him. Let's get it trending, guys. No pressure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
Save
I
the
did
Dark
the the actor that was on the Fear of the Walking Dead. If there's any Fear of the Walking Dead fans out there who played John, I think he would make a great role in.
John
John Dory.
Dory. Oh my God, no
Yes.
spoilers, but that was a tough go a couple weeks back.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
shit.
I haven't
Oh.
seen Fear the
Garrett
Walking
Dillahunt.
Dead, so I have no idea.
Okay, well then we'll zip it and you have homework for after this, okay? There's like 6 seasons. You should be able to catch up. No problems.
There's 6?
I don't know. It's getting up there. Someone's going to be like, you're wrong, Leah. And I'm like, whatever. All time is just like,
I haven't even seen the past 2 seasons of The Walking Dead.
oh my, okay, well,
I'm
the rest of
very
your
bad.
year is taken,
Behind,
friend. Like,
behind.
I'm very behind.
And what's next for AJ? What's on your next agenda? What's coming up?
I'm actually starting a miniseries based on one of my older shorts. So I hope that starts filming soon. We're in the process of writing. It's called Into the Dusk, so I hope that goes well.
Good luck. Good luck on that, and we'll look for that. And in anything that you want to say to the viewers out there as far as the fest that we're doing for everybody? Anything that you want to?
I hope they enjoy it. I love the idea of just getting all the dollar babies together and talking about the films and showing the films, and I don't know. I just think this is the best thing ever, honestly, and I hope it happens often.
I hope so too. And there's James Douglas.
I see James sneaking in there.
I'm sending him notes. I'm passing him notes like I'm an asshole kid in class. It's like, just kind of
You're talking shit behind my back.
No, not at all.
Not at
Actually,
all.
all really nice stuff.
all very nice.
Also, for our viewers right now, just to be clear, we are in a pod and we're vaccinated, so everything's cool. I just had a couple questions because I absolutely loved this adaptation, AJ. I just your decision to not only do the gender swap, but then also provide a very authentic lead-up story to sort of see the motivations of something like that. I think what that did was assuage the fears that King obviously has about that story and his reasons for really not republishing it as often as it would be. I think that you've created something that kind of goes beyond just that anger school shooting kind of storyline and provided us with something that, whereas we can't necessarily agree with what Kate's decisions ultimately were, we can at least kind of understand them. And I just wanted to give you props for that because I thought it was very deftly handled, and working with your actor to create that story, I think was a really awesome directorial move.
Thanks. I'm glad that people like it because I know when I was making it, I'm like, are people gonna find this uh difficult, or like oh, what's a good word? I guess I'd say disturbing, but or tough to grasp with the concept. But I was seeing in the comments that people were relating to it also, and I'm just really surprised that people are relating, and even their own experiences are not necessarily the same, but how they can see their decisions, I guess I'd say. But I know the first time around with the gender swap, I knew that was going to be a topic people would talk about, because people always want to see King stories like adapted exactly word from word. So, and even as a fan, I would love that too, but there's just some things that you can't really film from page, like take exactly out. And I mean, Doctor Sleep was a good example of that.
Hmm.
But it was still great, and I just I'm glad that people liked it.
Well, they obviously have, based on the comments that we're seeing in front of us for sure, and the comments on Twitter. There was a couple of questions that I noticed, and so I'm going to actually ask you to help us for a moment, sort of describe the Dollar Baby deal itself, because yesterday we actually, in our introduction, had an opportunity to sort of describe to people what it is and how they would go about doing something like this. And I noticed that there are a couple of potentially emerging filmmakers on our YouTube feed who are really curious to know what the process is. So could you describe the process from your perspective, like how you learned about it? I know you've talked a little bit about it, but like what the actual process of going and applying for something like this is, just in your words, so that our viewers can get a refresh on that?
Yeah. So the Dollar Baby, it's a rule that, or a contract King has, that he has a list of short stories that you can buy the rights to for 1 year and for $1, and you can adapt them in your own way, and you get to have your own King movie pretty much, and you can send it to festivals, have private screenings, but it can't publicly be shown with the contract that you have to sign with King. But the way I found out was actually, it was like a Facebook clickbait article. It was like 50 things you didn't know about Stephen King. So I was like, oh, so I was like, okay, I'm intrigued. So I just kept scrolling, and it's like half of it I knew. It was just stupid stuff. But there was the one where, oh, King has this thing called the Dollar Baby where you can adapt into a short film. I'm like, really? I'm like, that's awesome. So I went to his website, and there's like, what is it? It's like 25 stories,
Something like
something like
that, yeah.
that.
I mean, it changes every once in a while depending on who's licensed it, elsewhere. But yeah, I would say about 2025.
Right, and I half of them I have never heard of. So I was, and when you click on them, it has like a little bio summary of the story, and half of them I'm like, oh man, I can't do this. I don't have the budget. I'm like, I was 17. I was 17 the first
Yep.
time I made it. So I I was like, yeah, I can't get this money. I'm like, how do I do this? And I saw Kane Rose Up, and I'm like, oh, that fits really well within a budget standpoint and with what's going on. I'm like, okay, this might be a good choice. And the first time I wrote it, it was with like, it was like word from word, and then I was like, it'd be a little bit different with the gender swap and more with today's times, I guess I would say. But yeah, if there's any future filmmakers that are interested in the Dollar Baby, definitely do it. It's honestly the coolest experience a filmmaker could have, with having a Stephen King story that you can do anything with.
I find really interesting is how all the different filmmakers, how they found out about the Dollar Baby program. Because like we've talked about it with quite a few people and no one's ever just like, oh, I just knew about it. Like,
It's true. And it seems so strange, right? Because it's been around for so long and we're all such Stephen King fans. And yet all of us have different stories about how we kind of stumbled across what it really was. So it's cool to hear your perspective on that too. Okay, I've stolen the microphone for too long. I just wanted a chance to say hi to you and let you know how much I love your film. I'm going to give it back over to Leah, and she's going to.
We still got about 4 minutes to fill before I enter the next film. I will let you know that Norm, he's just not here. Norm's just not here, you guys. He's taking the day off. No, he isn't. And he sends me a picture of our YouTube stream that says 666 are watching, and he says number of the beast. And I responded by saying Jesus, and he said not exactly, the other guy. So did you guys plan this ahead of time? I just don't know. Do you have any other questions, Tony? We've got about 3.5 minutes to go before we start our next film.
Well, first of all, I just want to let AJ know that one of your fellow Dollar Babies watched your movie and commented, Maria Ivanova, who directed Beach World, and she is in Russia. And she just wanted to say hi to you, and so I'm passing the message along and say she loved your movie.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
And hi to Maria from all of us here at the Stephen King Rules Film Fest. She's watching over there in Russia, and we send love over there.
I only know how to say goodbye.
Any final thoughts, AJ, about King in general, or anything about King any thoughts about King you want to share with us? Any final thoughts?
I hope he's watching. I mean, I know we all do.
Yeah, that would be.
But
the number of the beast might work for us here today.
let's hope. But I'm pretty sure he's seen all these too, because one of the rules for the Dollar Baby is to send him a DVD copy or Blu-ray with. But I really hope that he did or didn't. But if not, then I hope he's sending good vibes our way.
That's awesome.
I think
yeah. Well, listen, we thank you for being here. It is awesome to see you. Your film is great, and we hope that to see more of your films in the near future. And thank you for being here. It's been great.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this.
Everyone, give AJ a follow online. He's on Twitter. Are you anywhere else that people can follow you?
Yeah, Instagram. I think _Gribble, and Twitter also. But y'all have been tagging me and everything, so that'll be easy.
We're kind of crazy like that. I love it. Community building, guys. This has been a group effort. So lovely to have you here. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next film pretty quick here. Bye, AJ.
See ya.
Bye, AJ.